Welcome to a breaking news episode of the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast. This is Stephen Rothberg. I'm one of your two co-hosts. I'm the founder of College Recruiter, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career. And I am joined here today by my co-host, Peter Zollman of the AIM Group. Peter, we have to stop meeting so often.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary when we have a breaking news episode and we have somebody from the breaking news company. We wanna do it. So we have with us. Oh, and I'm with the AIM Group. We provide business intelligence to recruitment marketplaces and job boards worldwide. Companies like JobGet. Tony Liu is the co-founder and CEO of JobGet, which today announced that it had acquired or it snagged a job.
Oh, I see
It
what you did there.
That's a good
acquired
one.
Snagajob.
That's a good one.
Snagajob's been around forever, 25 years, even before there were apps. And it's both companies are in the hourly worker field. Um, Tony, why don't you give us the 15-second, the difference between the two is, and thank you for
Sure.
joining us.
Well, glad to be here and great to hear that, us being here and having this news gives you guys another chance to get together. So pleasure. So I would say that for us, the biggest difference is probably we're a newer player, but we're app first and we're focused on the hourly space. And they've been around for Snagajob has been around for quite a long time, but they were more on the web first spectrum of that. If you were to pinpoint a specific differentiation there.
Now you have about 100 million profiles, or you have about 80 million in your arsenal, and Snagajob has about 100 million according to their figures. In the due diligence, you obviously did some work on how much overlap is there.
Hmm.
Is there a lot of overlap among your hourly workers, or are they pretty much separate? How many are you going to come out with after you check them both, after you merge the database, so to speak?
Yeah, it's a good question. For us, I think there are some overlap, but I would say that it's probably less than 50%, 60%. And the
Hmm.
reason for that is because, we have a lot of our focus on more of kind of the Gen Z millennial type of audiences, whereas their database is across a spectrum of demographics.
Oh,
And the second thing is we've been very tailor focused on metropolitan areas where, given kind of their reach and legacy, they've covered the spectrum in a lot of rural pockets where we don't have. So we see a lot of great synergistic fit there from both the geography and a demographic perspective.
well, that's awesome because when I first saw the news, to me, it looked like basically two direct competitors. One older, one newer one buying out the older one. It's not uncommon. Um, and I was thinking it was like a more of a way of reducing competition, but this is nice to hear that it is kind of more of like a 1 + 1 maybe equals 3. Was your primary motivation in acquiring Snagajob that additional reach, the lack of overlap in the user base, or was there technology or contracts with employers that was a bigger emphasis?
Yeah, so I think there's probably 3 to 4 reasons here why we acquire them. We actually had a conversation with them probably like a year and a half back, when we first started this inkling of joining forces. Is we just have a very similar vision, right? So our ultimate vision is to improve lives and opportunities for hourly employers and hourly workers, and so are they, right? So I think that's probably the primary impetus there. We say, hey, we both share a very common vision. Why don't we do this together, right? So that's kind of the first impetus for this. The second is kind of the demographic and the geographic synergies we see on both sides. I would say the third is probably data. They have a rich pool of data that spans 10, 20 years. And for us, we're very data focused in terms of providing that personal experience for both job seekers and employers. And what I mean by this is, we recently launched sort of a For You page for job seekers and for employers, where we cater the job discovery process of a job seeker to their actions on their clicks, their applies, their views, to make sure that we bring forth lifetime, the best jobs that are suited for them. And acquiring Snagajob allows us access to an immense amount of data that's longitudinal over the last number of periods. And this is especially important to mention in the hourly space because our original thesis of this is our play is to focus on these hourly workers. And these hourly workers, they have a lot of latitude in terms of what industry they can work on, right? Meaning
Yeah.
that's coming in as a cashier, they might not know, but oh wow, there's a concierge job I can apply to, or hey, there's a warehouse worker I can apply to on the weekends. So us having that data and having that overlay in terms of mapping out the user's usage, their preference, their experiences, their careers, is a perfect complement to what we're doing. And having Snagajob accelerates that data acceleration on our side.
So,
So, and I would say the last thing is probably, they have a fantastic employer platform that they built out over the last 10, 20 years. And they have a lot of automation in terms of ATS integrations as well that we're excited to partner with them on. So I think there's a lot of fantastic synergies with the acquisition of Snagajob.
so how did it come about? You approached them, they approached you. Some broker came in the middle and said, "Hey, I got this site that I want to sell you," or what came up?
I know someone who knows someone.
Yeah, so you know what? I met the folks, I would say the folks at Snagajob are fantastic. First of all, I think the alignment and vision is there. So we just hit off right off the bat. You know what? I can't even recall the first time, but I've spoken with a couple of folks on Snag team. We spoke with Keith, with Matthew, we spoke with Fabio, the previous chairman. And actually Fabio, a very interesting background. He was the founder of, I believe, Elance and Odesk that merged into
Oh,
Upwork. So he became the chairman of Snagajob, and I had a conversation with him, I think probably a year, 2 years ago. And that was kind of also planted the seed back in the day as well. And I think this just made the perfect synergy there once we continue our conversation moving forward. And then met with Keith, their current CEO, and just a very collaborative and synergistic process to make this happen.
So they've had more than $100 million in funding. You guys have had more than $52 million in funding over the years. I mean, they've been going for 25 years. How did the money work? Is this a straight acquisition? And what'd you guys pay? I know you told us you can't tell us, but I got to ask anyway, right?
Sure, and I'll kind of harken back to my earlier answer. So this is a private transaction, so at the moment, I've been advised not to kind of disclose the financial of this deal.
Are the investors walking away happy in Snagajob, or are the investors walking away?
I'd say everyone's very happy. I mean, we have full buy-in from their investors and our investors. I think this is just a 1+1 = 3 opportunity where they're all very excited for the future of JobGet and what we can leverage the Snagajob asset. So I would say everyone's quite happy in this.
awesome. Tony, um, Peter was asking about sort of like the money part of it. Let me
Oh,
also that's cool. I'm just I want to also ask about the people part of it. Whenever two organizations come together in a former life, I've worked for a Fortune 50 company that at the time I was there was doing a ton of divestitures and some acquisitions. There's always going to be some redundancies. There's always going to be cases where like leaders of one organization leave. Sometimes it's their choice, sometimes it's not. What are you envisioning for the next, say, 6 months or so in terms of the staffing of the two organizations?
it's a great question. So in terms of a leadership perspective, it will be, so first of all, I will say through the interactions with Snagajob, they have a ton of talented folks
Hmm.
who we respect and admire. Um, to your point, there are some overlaps in terms of skill sets. So in terms of how we envision over the coming months is from an exec team perspective, um, we'll be kind of leading the charge and continue to build Snagajob and under the JobGet family. We will have a few of their execs coming over as advisors, and then we can see if we can shape into a full-time role for them moving forward. In terms of their team, we are trying to bring as many folks from their team as possible. In fact, today, we're going through offer conversations, so fingers crossed on that. But they have a lot of the folks who are with Snagajob currently. A lot of them are 10xers. They have fantastic relationship with either their partners, clients. So we love to kind of bring as many folks as possible from Snagajob.
Yeah,
So from that perspective, we're both pretty lean on that front.
and I can second your praise of the Snagajob people. College Recruiters has worked in different ways with them in a number of ways over the years, as is the case with JobGet. And that's one of the reasons why I was excited to see the deal.
That's right.
It's not like two awful organizations getting together and thinking that they're going to create like unicorns and rainbows.
Do we know of any of those?
We did have an
breaking episode we had, Career Builder and Monster, but
yeah, there was something about putting two pigs together or Kmart and Sears and expecting to get something something along those lines. But Peter, I think we have like one more minute. Do you want to grab the last
just
question?
To mention a few things. Number one, this is your third acquisition in about 18 months. Number two, you're planning to maintain the Snagajob brand and their product and app, their product and software, and you're planning to eventually merge the databases and have all those people have the opportunities to both sides. Is that accurate?
Yeah, thanks for checking with that. So I think you are directionally correct. I think our plan is to keep the Snagajob entity operating as a standalone entity for the foreseeable future, given that they've built a great product, great relationship with their customers and clients. So we don't foresee any major changes there. What we will be bringing is extra resources, extra investments to kind of make that an even better experience, and also kind of cross-pollinate our best, jobs and assets across the board as well. So that is kind of the plan there. And yes, this is our third acquisition, and we're excited because we're at a very, very strong inflection point of our journey where we're seeing great growth despite a tough market out there. And I think this is the perfect time to double up and scale the business.
Hey,
I think that was two other questions.
Yeah, that answered my question perfectly. And my alarm just went off for another phone call coming up. We really appreciate that you took the time on kind of a busy day, although by now all the dust is pretty much settling, except people are just finding out. Thank you for taking the time. We appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon. We thank you for doing this, and good luck with the acquisition. Stephen, any parting words?
I just would like to just repeat the joke. Congratulations on having snagged that job.
Well, I appreciate your time as well, and I really enjoyed this. So thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tony. Thank you, Stephen. Have a good weekend.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.